cannot handle real work, reality talk, 80+ language, simply skip the video.
On the nice sneaky spot where I can shoot today's Sunday vlog. Over there is the Holy Trinity Park. And anyway, let me share a couple of things. And I try to stay on topic when it's about my vlogging thing. I'm very admire those people who stay somewhat for a longer amount of time, let's say 10+ minutes on the same topic. But you know what, because maybe if you watch my previous vlogs, I'm really trying to do this maybe to please a little bit more specific audience, but today I just going willy-nilly old school. And if you haven't watched my previous vlogs, just check it out. I talk about a lot of stuff, mainly calisthenics, running, endurance, to keep my brain at 46 years young, as healthy as possible, because I'm engaging with a lot of people and I try to put as much energy in each meeting, as much energy as possible, so I bring value, a little bit entertainment, try to make people a little bit laugh, while I'm also actually, I don't waste other people their time, and I'm not expecting anything in return. And for this you need an energy. That is actually the main reason that I'm training. Next to that, I like to enjoy a beer. Yesterday I drank a little bit more than I was planning to from the beginning of the day, but this is how it goes sometimes. Then somebody sends me a message, hey, I put a beer in the freezer. Okay, I'm coming. Then somebody sends me another message, hey, I put a few beers in the freezer. Okay, because the weather is now very good. I'm in Sofia, Bulgaria, walking next to the Holy Trinity Park. But okay, so the beers stacked up for me by every single meeting. And I really enjoyed. And by the way, thank you, people, if you watch me, if you watch these vlogs of this vlog. I don't know, but okay. At the end of the road, I end up, pretty hammered. I was pretty hammered, I admit. So, but that doesn't mean that I'm not gonna train the next day, which means this morning I woke up, I smoked some cigarettes, totally, in the morning feeling, oh my God, how I'm gonna do this. And this is also because I'm in a very strict rhythm of getting up at 5:15. Today I got up at 7:15. Yeah, but anyway, and then I feel, whoa, it's already so late. But I started to do a run because I can feel my shoulders a little bit, and I chose for a run because this morning Sunday is sometimes also a little bit more willy-nilly, a lot of planning, mainly planning, not a lot of execution, not a lot of extreme meetings. So, and then I was thinking, shall I go to do a little bit boxing or running? And then when it's about the running, then I was thinking, shall I go to the stadium or will I do it over here from Ilinden Kwartal and the neighborhood where I have an Airbnb, where I stay in an Airbnb. It's called Ilinden or Ilinden. I don't know. I always mix those two up. But the thing is, so I decided to do a run from Ilinden to Lulein and back, and that's around 10.5 kilometers. Was not in the planning to do, let's say, quote unquote, so much, but feel good about it, and I deserve a beer later on. Yeah, that's my life. I just do whatever I want, and because I do everything from the phone. Again, if you watch my vlogs for the first time, subscribe, follow, hit the notification bell if you're anyways busy with pushing all those things on your screen. And next to that, I'm sharing the strategies. And when it's about strategies, let me also first finish this talk about this run. How is this? So people ask me, how is this possible though? The thing is, I don't diet, but there are things that I don't eat. For example, I don't eat pizzas and I don't eat burgers, I don't eat donuts, and there's a lot of things that I don't eat actually when I'm thinking about. But one thing that I noticed, because when I was running this morning, I was thinking, whoa, I drank so much beer, and actually also a little bit more than average I smoked cigarettes, and no problem at all. I had to get a little bit out of this. Had this dusty cloud in my brain. Choked a lot of water. But what I ate the day before, yesterday, while I was drinking, I was eating the Bulgarian Physique and Vukanka, and mainly yesterday Vukanka. And the thing is, there is something with this meat that actually keeps you really, at least me. When people ask me what do you eat, I am on a Bulgarian diet. I drink the beers, I drink once in a while rakia, but I don't drink rakia so much as before. Before it was pretty much every single day with dinner, but also that doesn't work really well for me. Everyday beer, let's say I do every day around 3 liters of beer. So that is, and you know, when I do the Saturdays, yeah, no, I'm not bragging over here, I'm just being honest. My vlogs are just 100%. The thing is, yesterday I think I did around 8 liters of beer. So let's say on an average it's 100 liters plus per month. I like to track somehow my drinking habits. And yes, let's put a disclaimer. I'm not promoting any kind of thing like alcohol and drug abuse, because I do talk about alcohol, I do talk about drugs, I talk about life, and you know, and I'm still very in the boundaries of, you know, not going all overboard with my stories in order to shock people and or, you know, put people in from the past in some kind of situation. This is another thing. I never mention anybody's name. So in case you watch my previous vlogs and you say, yeah, Don, but you talk about me. You're the only person who would know that it's you. And I'm sharing those behaviors because I do believe when you can get along, and I'm not talking about licking ass, you know, and parade the whole day in suits and lick ass, try to make some sales. No, I'm sharing situations. So when you recognize those situations, when you listen to my vlogs, you would say, oh, Dylan talked about this. Let me also watch another vlog, because like I always say, you know, a characteristic, let's say a bad behavior, and let's label this bad behavior, simply something that is not beneficial for your life. You will slow down your progress and you go into a very deep fucking thing. What is very deep? I don't know what is very deep, but that is not something positive. Anyway, nothing is judgmental. I'm sharing this so you don't run into those situations like I did. And sometimes, and now at 46, I'm way much more. I think I can say that I'm very professional in this, because you know, like I said also in previous vlog, you know, I started selling door to door when I was 11, and you know, we also I was always very interested in humans, their behavior, but also always wondering why, but also without judging them that, oh, they're bad people. No, I'm not saying this, but I can share those things, and I can even go way much more back. And I'm gonna tell you this: when I think I was 7 or 6, and then I had to go to a place for 2 weeks in some sort of and I'm gonna share this in some kind of psychiatry department of some hospital, because I was hyper and very emotional, blah blah blah. But in that place, and then again, I never talk like, oh, I'm the victim and now everything is so bad. No, I'm sharing these things to give you a little bit more context. How is that possible that you know these things? Because my father is 46 and he doesn't have a clue about the world. Well, those people in general have a 9 to 5, went to school, 9 to 5 job, knocked somebody up, you're over there, and they're gonna die. And there is nothing wrong with it if they're happy with it. But people think like this: are they really happy? You know, are they really happy? Let's talk about your father, huh? If he would be in a position that he has pretty much access to a lot of women, would he cheat on your mother? He would not have the beer belly and everything. and all the bad skin stuff that comes along with a 46-year-old fucking fart like myself, you know, would he cheat? Well, most guys do. And I know I test a lot of people, especially when people come over here and they want to do business with me. Like I said also in one other vlog, I'm not doing business with people who cheat on their wives and betray their children, actually, because one reason, if they are willing to betray their own spouse and children, what do you think you're gonna do what they're gonna do to me? And I came to this conclusion through a long period of doing a lot of projects, running multiple businesses offline. Now everything is online. I'm actually avoiding a person over here, so they're not on the camera. So, you know, I am saying things from experience, so you probably can also understand there's a little bit of emotion behind it. Not that I'm emotional about the fact that it happened to me, like, oh, you know, I'm such a sad guy, I need to sit in a corner with a woolen sweater with a blanket and cry my eyes out. No, I'm just sharing this so you don't have to fall in those pitfall things. So next to that, you know what, I also this morning what I noticed, I was, you know, I get notification of Quora. Quora is a website, you know, people answer questions and blah blah blah. People post things. A lot of things is AI generated, we can all see this. But this is, I think, very dangerous. And one guy that I actually noticed, he made a list of stuff how to prosper in life. Well, and this is the thing. This was a young guy, is a young guy, and he has a lot of followers, a boatload of views. I think over 150,000 views a week or per month. I don't know, maybe I'm exaggerating, but I was very astonished by the fact, because I thought, okay, let's take a little tiny look at his list. But this is the thing, people. I talk about emotion, I talk about tonality, so you also understand that I have some sort of connection with reality, been there, done that. But this guy, when I went through his list, there are details missing. Details. And I do believe when it's about details, and I'm very into details now because I'm very careful, and before in the past, you know, I went in, somebody said, let's do this, okay, bam. Go in it all the way without thinking, oh, maybe he is only has an emotional outburst, just a very you know, a short-term thing. Yes, I'm very excited, let's get into this project, and I'm the guy who's going all in. See, I'm not doing this anymore. I'm spending a lot of time to filter people and see where they are, and also I test them. Am I some kind of, how do you call this? Not a psychopath, but a manipulator, also not. But anyway, I am not. I'm just protecting me. I am alone on this planet. Like you, everybody's alone, but you know, I don't have family. I don't have, say I'm adopted. My adoption parent died. My mother died when she was 29. My father when I was 31. And when I was 31, I lost, you know, at 30 I lost everything, because I was a total lunatic. And on top of that, I decided also to buy a bar at the end, and yeah, it was pretty disastrous. My mother died, started drinking like an idiot, but not because of my mother, but also in combination with everything. The stress of the bar. I had a store. At that point, actually, I also started falling in love with a woman. I stayed with that woman for, I think, 8 or 9 years. Maybe even 10. Forgive me if you're watching this, but anyway, like with all my exes, I could, and I still was, let's say, from the past. See, now I'm back in Bulgaria for, I think, already maybe 4th year, I don't know. But the thing is, in the meantime, I built yeah, some sort of a stack of exes, and this is not because, you know, that I'm some kind of, and that I like to go through boatloads of women. No, that's not the thing. The thing is, you know, sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. And the thing is, I'm very honest about everything, and that is maybe also not the right way to keep a relationship very healthy. And next to that, I'm constantly busy with, you know, growth. And yeah, anyway, at the moment I'm single. If you think that you're interested in a disciplined person. I am disciplined, that's for sure. I think I'm very okay. No, not start bragging, Dylan. Okay, I'm disciplined. Let's leave it like over there. And we're not gonna turn this into some kind of Tinder self-promotion thing. And by the way, when it's about Tinder, I never dated anybody through Tinder. I just meet people on the street. And you know what? This is also a very nice one. Just walk to the center, and just ask people if they're hungry. And then this is also something I never expect anything from anybody. You know, when I walk up to somebody to have a little chit chat when I don't know them, I'm really not into, I want to bang them straight away. I always need a little bit a mental thing. And also, I'm not into this women. And I'm not talking down on a category of women, but those tiny women that cry about when their nails break. I always end up with people with an interesting past. And multiple times also very interesting occupations in the entertainment business. Anyway, step away from this topic. This Quora thing. I went through his list, details, people. So when you speak also with a person about a possible venture, ask about details. Listen to the tonality, right? Might save you a lot of headache. And which I, like I said, I never did this before, but now I do. I'm very strict, and now I'm putting people very subtle, humane tests. And one very interesting test, I think, is very interesting. I gave multiple businesses a lemon tree, and one person actually, he actually did a good job with it. And the thing is, with him I'm going to work, because he showed me the plant how it's looking now. And the thing is, that means he put effort into it. He cares about growing something, and without actually expecting, I just gave, see, those are very subtle tests. Are people only, so for example, you get a plant from somebody like a tiny clone, and then he was the only person actually who showed, look, this is now what happened to the plant. See, and that's what I like, because without actually having any gains from it, but he showed appreciation about something that is not business wise, but really nice, focused on growth in general, and really also appreciating on a longer term a gift. It's not like you give somebody something and they say, oh, I'm so grateful. No, this takes longer time, and I like really longevity in something. There are also people in the beginning who text you and they're very excited. I'm walking really next to the road, so to avoid people. Now next to containers. This is not the nicest thing. Anyway, there are people on us in the beginning, a lot of text, how are you doing, blah blah blah, and then it slows down. See, the thing is, for me, I have so many people in this basket. I take my time. I don't need to work with you instantly, and also see along the way where you go. Let's see what's your real nature. Some people, they drop instantly. Some people take a couple of weeks. Some people take a few months. Some people take a few years. But the thing is, life is about numbers, people. It's a numbers game. And because of the social media and everything and these vlogs, I'm running into a lot of people. And no, I don't have yet the millions of views, but so when I'm meeting people offline, I just take a look at this is who I am. And there is not one single vlog that you can say, oh, now he shows a little bit different personality. No, I'm always the same, and that's why I also don't like to get into working from a script. That each video has to be specifically one topic and nothing else, because then I feel, and then my behavior is gonna be, and some people might think, don't. But that would be, you will get way much more views. You can make more focused titles. You can make very nice thumbnails. By the way, a thumbnail, I need to make a post. Anyway, you know, but it's true, right? And I do admire those people who can stay on topic, and maybe that's also a little bit my life is, no, I would say, very diverse. It's out of the ordinary. I'm doing everything from the phone. I don't have to be anywhere. If I won't, yeah, I cannot, but if I won't, I can set up camp over here. I'm gonna live over here, and I'm gonna do everything from the phone. I got a huge external battery I can recharge in the mall, you know, and that's another thing. And then I'm gonna close this vlog. You know, I've spent time on the street, you know, when I lost a couple of times everything. So when I had times, and that's why, and this is nothing against the homeless people, but when I slept in garages, I also slept just on the street on a bench, and also in the night when it was very cold, I just go to the calisthenics spot and just for 6 hours training, and of course not full throttle, but just to stay warm. But this is what I want to say. When I was, let's say, sleeping on benches and stuff, yeah, you can label it as homeless. It's true. But the thing is, I will get later in this topic as well, because I do have from that period, multiple periods from the past. I got over 1,000 videos that I actually put a camera on my face and just talked about the situation. And the thing is, what I always manage to do, I always locate water where I can get water for free. Main thing is water. Keep myself clean, that I didn't end up like a smelly idiot, you know. With all the respect to the people who already went totally overboard with being homeless and start smelling, with all the respect to them. But I do believe, and especially here in Sofia, Bulgaria, you know, you can find so many water places. You can clean yourself up. At least do this. You can shave off your beard if you're a man, you know. You can shave your beard. You can actually make yourself look as good as possible, when, you know, and it's not about, you know, that you're all, you can act like a sad little fuck and say, yeah, this is it, now I'm gonna drink the cheapest alcohol, I'm gonna lay down in the corner and grow a beard and hold up my hand. Instead, you can start walking, sober up, and walk to the water place. That's the first thing, right? And along the way, when you start looking better, maybe you start feeling better, maybe you start doing a run. Let me also tell you this, once I had 4 days I did not eat anything, and still I did a run. Not as long as I did this morning at 10.5, but then I did at least 2 or 3 kilometers, 4 or 5, you know, I just to stay mentally on top of the game. And you know, that is yeah, easy to do, but it's also easy not to do, right? I really like this quote of Jim Rohn, where he says, and the things that are easy to do are also easy not to do, like holding the door open for a woman with a baby, you know. And then I talked about this situation before, right? This guy from Venezuela, he was over here and a baby on the arm, and he was next to the door and he didn't open the door. And that's a nice example, right? About things that are easy to do are also easy not to do. But things that are easy to do are also easy to forget about it, that you don't pay attention to it. But when you do those things, if he would held open the door, the woman would be and a little smile. I always stand up in the trams or in the buses, you know, I just stand up. And yesterday I stood up, nobody else stood up, but I always, you know, when I'm sitting, I sit next to the door, so when I see an old lady walking in or an old man, I straight away stand up. But, you know, when then the old woman actually said, you know, no, I don't need, because she only needed to do one stop. But the guy next to me, an older man, saw me doing it, and he, you know, he was shaking like this. So, you know, that is positivity, right? That there are very tiny things you can do to live a very more, let's say, a more fulfilled life than you maybe do now. And I really like to do that. See, for me, it's just part of my character. You know, I integrated so much, let's say. And by the way, I'm not the greatest person on the planet. I'm not claiming anything like this. I'm just trying to talk real as possible, and I try to be in the moment as possible, you know, close to this point of reality. I also want to enjoy every single second of the day, you know, as conscious as possible, and also try to optimize each meeting that I have with people, you know, so that I leave somehow, somewhat a little stamp on their soul, you know, and also always leave something of value that they can think about. And maybe this is something to think about, and then I'm also going to stop talking. So I had this talk with one guy. We talked about okay, this is 18+ words. The word motherfucker. The thing is, I think it's a negative word, although I do like to use it once in a while, you know, yeah, but then in a funny way. So for example, I would say, so in Bulgarian, I would say, "Hey, dobar den, motherfuckers," you know. So, but I also know to which people I would say this, the younger people. But the thing is, so I had this conversation with a younger guy. If you're watching this, you know it's true. If you had a choice, because then you would start thinking about the word motherfucker, right? If you had a choice to fuck your mother or to lick your father, so you would be a papa licker. See, like this you can become very aware of the wordings that you use, right? And this is maybe in a very extreme example, but it is something, you know, think about the opposite. So a motherfucker in this case is a papa licker in my, you know, in my weird thinking way. And then which one would you do? Because because then you start thinking really about this word, right? And it's also a very good reminder about many, let's say, negative words. Think about the opposite and then choose which one would you do. And then you really start maybe training your subconscious that don't use those words anymore. So also, you know, when it's about Bulgarian words, and there are people who want to teach me in very negative words. I say, I don't want to know, I don't want to, yeah, you can tell me so I recognize them, but I don't want to learn how to pronounce them in the right way. By the way, I need to check the battery of this. Oh, okay, I only talked for 26 minutes. Okay, that's actually good. So that's a sweet spot. Oh, and you know what? When I started actually vlogging with my first GoPro thing, I always thought, and because when I took the SD card, you know, it always says 11 minutes something. And I thought, is that my sweet spot, you know, that I can rattle for only 10 minutes? But that's not true. The clips are automatically cut by by GoPro. I got a dry throat. You know, by GoPro they automatically cut it. So in case, you know, it made me also at one point very paranoid, and I mentioned this in the beginning of my vlogging journey. Nobody actually dropped something like, yeah, that's a GoPro thing. Of course, I don't have the amount of view yet, but help me out over here with viewing and sharing my videos if you think there is something of value in it. And by the way, now I'm really gonna stop talking. The thing is, I am now, so I got over 900 videos on this channel. I'm going to distribute them with make.com scenarios, and I'm giving away those scenarios. So when you have links that you want to share over all the social media without paying money, it is for free. With make.com you can run 2 scenarios, and you can take my scenario, you download it from the store for free, and upload it to your make.com account. You attach your social media and you just wrangling put it on over there out of in the world, Twitter, LinkedIn, because you know this specific scenario is for me. I'm taking the YouTube links and I'm gonna distribute them on all the social media where you can share links. That includes also Tumblr, by the way. Tumblr is a very weird platform, I think, but still I'm gonna drop the links over there because it's automated. And next to that I have a column for title, description, and then the link. You can, and I will rewrite all those things for him. I'm just telling you what I'm doing with it. So I'm rewriting all the titles with AI, descriptions are different, attach different hashtags, and then blast them over the hand over 900 videos, so I get those extra followers, those extra views on my videos. And then at one point I got over 1 million followers, and then maybe you know, today you press this subscribe button and you're one of those first million subscribers, right? And by the way, this is very shitty, and then I really stopped talking. the previous vlog I talked about the fact that I would do actually yesterday a live, but to be very honest, I chickened out. And I did. I chickened out because somehow I'm very nervous for it. Not because of judgmental stuff, but you know, I don't know. Also, yeah, maybe I should just start doing it. But I'm honest about it. I chickened out, and also I got totally hammered. Is it because of the alcohol? No, because I could actually. But this is another thing. I don't want to do this totally hammered. You know, because maybe I would start rambling so much, and then I really go bounce from A to Z, and from Z to H, and from H to M, and from M all the way back to A, and then people get so confused about everything, and then, you know, nobody interacts with me, and then no, big failure, totally hammered. Anyway, that's pretty much it for today, I think. Ciao for now.